Once upon a time, Ted Turner was headline news, as brash and famous as any tycoon anywhere. Now, as Lee Cowan explains, he's letting his land help shape his legacy.
Turkeys are to Thanksgiving what bison are to Ted Turner. The billionaire's passion for the largest land mammal in North America has both the bison and naturalists alike pretty thankful. He did the same for other animals and plants that were once native to these lands as well. Journalist Todd Wilkinson says the man mostly known as a business tycoon has actually always been a naturalist at heart.
He looked at these grand old 19th century paintings, masterpieces, by people like Albert Bierstadt or Thomas Moran, and he would say, I want my land to look like that. I want it to be inhabited by all of those native species.
Turner owns more square miles than almost any other single individual. 2 million acres, stretching across several states.
What do you think?
Looks pretty good.
The last time we met him, he invited our Ted Koppel out to his Flying D Ranch in southwest Montana, where 114,000 beautiful acres reach out toward Yellowstone.
I'm not buying any more land. I've got enough.
At the time, Turner was about to turn 80.
Lift 6, down and hold.
And it was then he revealed he'd been diagnosed with Lewy body dementia, a fatal brain disorder that worsens over time.
Tired, exhausted, and forgetfulness.
It's hard to see Ted Turner slow down.
And yet, facing his own mortality may just have made Ted Turner more protective of his lands than ever.
He asked me if I believed in God, and I said I believe in a higher power. And he said, you know, I do too, but I believe that we can create heaven on earth.
At a time when most of the attention he garnered was for winning the America's Cup or for founding CNN,
my cable network keeps America ahead with 24-hour news.
He was quietly buying up his heaven on earth, most of it in the American West. He then hired teams of top naturalists and conservationists who reintroduced everything from the native desert bighorn sheep to the critically endangered Mexican wolf and the Bolson tortoise.
You lose a little bit of rights to have an endangered species on your property. But my dad felt it's dire. I want to help these species.
Rhett Turner is one of Ted Turner's sons.
You see anything?
Among other things, he's a professional wildlife photographer who spent years capturing his father's conservation efforts for a book, one frame at a time.
It's a really big herd.
On this night,
incredible. The light's really nice.
We found him on Turner's 360,000-acre ranch in southern New Mexico, called Armendaris, where ancient lava tubes provide a summer home for one of the largest bat populations in North America, right below our feet.
You're going to see something that's really incredible.
Sure enough, just as the light was almost gone,
look at that.
It happened. A cloud of Mexican free-tailed bats darkened the sunset.
This has happened for thousands and thousands of years. You could just hear their wings flapping right over our heads, going out to feast on insects all night long.
Do you feel a responsibility as a Turner to make sure that these lands stay the way they are?
Yes, I absolutely do.
It's got to be daunting in a way.
It is daunting. Absolutely is.
But worth it.
It will be worth it.
As you might imagine, managing 2 million acres isn't cheap, even for a billionaire.
I mean, he always says we need to shape up and do the right thing, and that's not always the least expensive path.
For years, his bison have been providing meat for his string of Ted's Montana Grill restaurants. But Turner was always aware that ranching alone wasn't going to fund his lands after he and his money were gone.
That was the first thing that Ted said to me when I actually got to sit down with Ted is, Jade, we need to generate some more revenue on those properties. Not a lot, but we need to generate some more.
So, Turner's plan? Open his private lands to the paying public, to give them a chance to experience a genuine safari right here in America.
His focus is, let's get people to come and visit these properties. Let's get them out here and help them to reconnect humanity with nature.
Jade McBride is president of Ted Turner Reserves. Despite the huge swaths of open land that Turner owns, McBride is taking a very reserved approach to just how many guests will be allowed at any one time.
We want to generate as much revenue we can out of as little impact as possible.
You could stay a week on his properties and not see another soul for literally thousands of square miles. The hacienda here at Armendaris allows just 10 people at any one time. At his nearby Ladder Ranch, his 4-bedroom country house accommodates no more than 8.
You know, everybody has horseback riding and hiking, and we do all these outdoor activities, but I think what really makes this place special is that we get to do them in this kind of restored ecosystem that feels a lot like a private national park.
The real jewel, though, is in northern New Mexico. Vermejo. At 550,000 acres, it's Turner's biggest ranch. It includes this Gatsby-era 25,000 square foot mansion, the same home Turner once shared with his former wife, Jane Fonda. Its reading room alone is worth the stay. Prices range from several hundred to several $1,000s.
Conservation capitalism is what he calls it.
That's Robert Turner, Ted's grandson, who works here, managing the bison herd.
So when people get out here and they see the elk and the deer and the bison and the big, beautiful natural landscapes, it helps to turn on something inside of them, to really get them passionate about the outdoors.
Vermejo's streams and lakes are a haven for Rio Grande cutthroat trout, a troubled species that Turner successfully reintroduced. Angler Brian Pohlmeyer hoped to catch just one.
It's just no place I've ever seen that's quite like this.
Yes, fishing and hunting, they're both allowed on Turner's properties, but only if the population can support it. This isn't a game farm. One of the trickiest endeavors is managing the native elk population. McBride says private hunts act as a pressure valve to conserve the biodiversity.
We have a really fantastic wildlife biologist, and he spends a large percentage of his time trying to help us determine what are the correct number of animals that we should have on this landscape to be healthy.
That said, Turner himself, especially later in life, still struggles with the hunting idea.
He struggles with the idea of any animal being killed. He cries when animals die.
I don't need any more money. I really don't.
The adventurer, who made his name as a business tycoon, knows he certainly can't live forever. But this holiday season, we can all be thankful for Ted Turner's carefully curated Heaven on Earth.
This is probably going to be his greatest legacy.
Absolutely.
Right?
I think nothing would make him prouder than for him to know that his initiatives to protect nature are going to persevere, not only through the generations of his family, but far beyond that.